Alright, welcome back to the channel, guys. Let's continue the Steam and Steel America campaign. So last time we started the Civil War against the Confederacy. We already dealt a huge blow. We took Atlanta, which is, they only have I think 5 settlements. We already took 1/5. And now we're laying siege to Richmond, their capital. And I think I'm not going to wait too long. I'm just going to try to take care of it because that's where their president is. The garrison is fairly small. We have a full stack. I think we can take it pretty easily. We're also laying siege in Texas to a few places, and also the British are attacking us up north. We're gonna have to deal with them after the Confederacy. So without further ado, let's go for it. We have a big army, good general, plenty of cannons. I think they only have one set of cannons, so we can we definitely have more firepower. Yeah, let's go for it. Let's take care of President Jefferson. Alright, and here we can see the beautiful custom settlement in mid-1800s Western style. Really beautiful. I love the custom settlements in this mod. They're so varied and so like ornate. One thing I don't like is the high buildings. They block cannon fires, so if you're not careful, that can make it a real pain. Looks beautiful, but yeah, it's kind of it's annoying. I wish the cannonballs would just go straight through the buildings, and then that way that would avoid that issue. But we're gonna deal with it. We just gotta find the right angle. Here's the city square, and that's really, really important because most enemy units are always gonna be concentrated in the city square. So we have to find an angle where the buildings are a little bit lower, and that'll maximize the chance of my cannons hitting them. I think over here. I think this is a good spot. Yeah, this is perfect. So I'm gonna try to put my cannons there. But we're in the deployment phase, and in the deployment phase, the area that we can deploy to is pretty limited. So I'm gonna try to move them a little bit. I'm gonna try to move them as close as I can to that flank that we were just looking at. And then once the battle starts, I'll just command them to move over, and it'll be safe because it's far away from the gatehouse, so they won't be able to like surprise me. I think there's only one entrance to the city, and the vast bulk of my army is facing the entrance. So yeah, we're gonna order them to, let's see. Yeah, I think that's a good distance. Far away enough. If you're too close, then you also run into the issue of the buildings blocking the view. So because the cannonball has to kind of like arc over. Oh, and there's also you know, like I mentioned earlier, there's a gatehouse, there's gates, we have a battering ram, so we can just smash through the gate as well. And in some of the custom battle maps, the gates are like glitched out, so you can't smash through them. But should be fine. Here's the enemy cannon. I have a lot of cavalry units. Once we smash through the gatehouse, I'll just send in my cavalry, and they can take care of them pretty easily as long as they don't get reinforced. And enemy cannons, we're lucky. They're positioned right next to a building, so they're hitting the building instead of hitting my units. I think one of them is actually getting a clear shot, but most of the cannons aren't. So we might suffer a few casualties, but not as many as we would have if that building wasn't blocking the way. Battering ram is getting into position. My cannons are also almost where I want them to be, so they can start firing pretty soon. And we'll do some devastating damage on that city square. Still no casualties, so the enemy cannon must be missing. But yeah, we're gonna target right there in the middle, and because they're concentrated so together, the surrounding units are also going to get hit because, you know, the cannons don't have perfect aim, so they're going to miss a little bit. They're they're going to miss a foot here, a couple feet there, and so they'll hit the surrounding troops, and so that'll do maximum like area of effect damage. They're close enough, but they're not firing. Come on. I think we're gonna have to manually move them a little bit. Let's see, how close do I want to get? Let's go just a little bit closer. Yeah. Okay, now we're hitting them. Or we should be. It's saying that they're firing, so it should be. Yep, yeah, we're hitting them. Yep, 2%. Yeah, we're hitting hard. So that'll keep them busy. Oh, and also, we just smashed through the gate with the battering ram, which means we can start sending in the cavalry to deal with enemy cannons. Let's take a look. Yeah, I'll position them right on the corner there so they can shoot at them. It will be risky because the enemy cannons could just directly fire, like point blank. So I'm taking a little bit of a risk. But it should be fine. Should be fine. And even if they fire, I can just move in the cavalry a little bit closer. The game's being a little bit glitchy. The frame rate is... I might have to slow it down a little. Okay, cavalry has arrived. Let's deal... let's slow it down. Yeah, the frame rate's being weird. Okay, we're shooting at them. Oh, but they're shooting back at us. Oh, yeah, we need to get close. We need to get within melee range, and then they can't fire anymore. Yeah, melee range time. Come on. Oh, they're running away. That worked out perfectly. Let's shoot down the survivors. Bam, 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 bam. Yeah. Oh, but they got reinforcements. Now they're sending in... Is this more cavalry? Yeah, more cavalry. Let's deal with them too. I think we can... we outnumber them, so we can kill off these horsemen. Yeah, we're winning by quite a bit, but my cannons are not doing as much damage as I thought. Oh, here come riflemen. Yeah, my cavalry is screwed, but whatever. They'll keep them distracted till I send in the main body of my troops. But yeah, the cannons, they're not doing as much damage. I think maybe they're too far away. Oh, my sharpshooters that were manning the battering ram, they're fighting the enemy general's bodyguard, and the bodyguard units are actually very weak in this mod. Usually, they're usually melee cavalry, and they're melee cavalry, but they don't even have heavy armor because that was kind of the style at the time. There was like no point wearing armor. I think we're gonna kill their general pretty soon, but I think it's time to start bringing in my riflemen pretty soon. So let's do that. Let's bring in most of them. And for now, let's just put them here where they're nice and safe. I don't think these sharpshooters even need help. I think they can take care of that bodyguard unit. Yeah, they're easily winning. And our missile cavalry, they're not... Well... They're dying, but they're still alive. Let's bring him into melee range, because one of them ran out of ammo. Okay, 30-something% of the enemy down. We're getting close. The frame rate is being weird again. I don't know why. Usually it's fine. Okay, let's bring in... Let's attack these riflemen. Come on. Let's position them right next to them, and then they'll go into melee mode. Yep, there we go. We're fighting an elite unit though. The army of those riflemen, the Army of Virginia, they're like one of the best units they have. They're gonna have very high morale. But we need to do something with these cannons. They're normally they would mow down like half the army super quickly, but it hasn't happened. Not sure why. Let's bring in these sharpshooters so that we can engage them. This is a really beautiful siege map for a battle. Look at that, like all this open space. Feels like you're really attacking a city. So let's try to focus more with these, with my cannons. Okay, almost half the enemy down, but we've lost considerable number of troops as well. Yeah, 42%. Let's select all the cannons and target one group of them. These guys. Yeah, there we go. And the enemy is sending in riflemen to deal with my sharpshooters. I should bring in my militia units. These guys, they're kind of crap, but I have them in large numbers, so they'll do the job. A couple hundred of them. Let's bring them in a little bit closer. And I have the sharpshooters already firing. The sharpshooters, they're kind of like a sniper unit, so they can hit from really far, so they can cover my militia units as they're like moving, because when they're moving they can't fire, so they're more vulnerable. That's the thing to keep in mind in this mod, is if the enemy is moving, if missile units are moving, that's the time to strike, because they can't strike back. Alright, let's bring them a little bit closer. Their range is way lower than the sharpshooters. Nice, over half the enemy down, 53%. And yeah, bam! Volley after volley. Almost 60%. And it looks like they're sending in their riflemen. They're sending almost everything that they've got left, they're sending in. Nice. We killed President Jefferson Davis, I think his name was. Doesn't say Davis, but I'm pretty sure that was his name. Oh yeah, now we're really mowing them down. 72%. Yeah, they're sending everything. They're not leaving anything in the square. They're sending in all the riflemen. 75%. They keep like running away, and then the city square. If you bring it, and this is true for like I think every Total War game. If you're in the city square, that restores morale. And so if you have units fleeing, they enter the square and they're no longer running away, and then you can send them back into battle. And that's why they're kind of moving back and forth. We're like demolishing their morale, and then they're like recovering and coming back. All right. My cannons ran out of their primary ammo, so now they have the secondary ammo, the scatter shot, but the secondary ammo doesn't have the same range. So that's why the cannons aren't really helping out much anymore. Let's bring the riflemen a little bit closer, and my sharpshooters, they're covering me. Sharpshooters are so useful because they're like constantly shooting from it, because they can shoot from a distance, so they're like always active. Let's bring them as well a little bit closer. The battle's almost done. Any moment now. Let's see if we can make the cannons useful right at the end. Maybe we could bring them in a little bit closer so the scatter shot is usable. Scatter shot's really powerful once you can actually use it, once you're within range. But it requires like you have to be like very close to your enemy to use it. I think it's almost any moment now. I think they're gonna start routing. Come on. Oh yeah. Speak of the devil, we won. This was a really satisfying battle. Really like the siege map. Clear victory. Nice. Alright, so we've taken the capital, and that's gonna totally destroy their economy. I think this is by far their most wealthy city. It's a huge city, and we owe a lot of money, so we need to get our money's worth. Now, normally sacking it, the second option, would give you the most in most Medieval 2 mods, but for some reason in this one, the first option gives you more money. And yeah, look at that, we're earning 3k per turn, and we're going to increase taxes as well. And we're going to do martial law, because that's how you incorporate it as like a normal city. Alright, so we're at war with the British, so I'm gonna try to really quickly like Zerg rush and destroy most of what's left of the Confederacy. I'm already laying siege to 2 of their forts in Texas, but also let's deal with this British army. This is like their main army. We're just gonna auto resolve it. No point wasting time on it. Yeah. Let's consolidate these troops. Here I can't fight them back because my garrison is tiny. I moved most of the garrison to the south. I wasn't expecting the British to like randomly attack me. Weirdly aggressive. All right, so like I mentioned earlier, we have these forts in Texas, and this is kind of the bulk of what's left of the Confederacy army. I'm gonna make a save file because we're going to be auto resolving a lot. Going to do like 3 auto resolves in a row, so let's do this one first. Okay, we outnumber them. Yep, not bad. I'll take it. It's a decent ratio, and we have way more manpower. And also, my upkeep is too high, so if I'm losing a few extra troops, it's fine. I have too many troops. I gotta be careful on the west coast because Vancouver is British controlled. Let's disband these ships because they're costing me too much money and they're not really useful because they're on the west coast. And with this navy, let's see if we can do some damage. Let's attack the enemy, the Confederate navy. Oh wow, we lost. It's fine. It's fine. I don't need ships. Ships are kind of overrated, especially because you can't have like naval battles. We would definitely want to take Cuba though. Alright, let's do another auto resolve. Let's see if I can maybe reinforce. Yeah, I have enough movement points, so let's bring in these riflemen. Oh, it's a full stack, so we're gonna put a second army comprised of troops that I used to take the first fort. I can't move the cannons because the cannons have limited mobility points, but this should be enough. Let's do another auto resolve. We should, yeah, we super outnumber them, but just in case, you never know. Especially if they have a good they have a good general, they can win. But another easy win, and then we just have Houston left, and I think Houston has like a tiny little garrison, so there's no point fighting the battle. I'm just going to auto resolve it as well. So let's bring in most of these troops. Who should we move? Let's do riflemen. That's kind of the priority. Merge. There's space for two more. I could use cannons. That would make more sense. Oh, yeah, not enough movement points. I forgot. So let's bring in. So they have one cannon. Yeah, we can easily auto resolve this. Good ratio. Definitely a good ratio. And we've taken Texas. And we're going to earn a little bit of money as well. This is a smaller city, so it didn't earn us as much as Richmond did, but good enough. And I've been thinking about the deficit. Let's increase taxes on most of these, most of my bigger cities. Richmond, Boston, Atlanta. They might get pissed off. Should I increase? Nah, it's too early. We just took Houston. But Chicago, they have high public order. I could definitely increase taxes on them. San Francisco. Yeah. Alright, I think that's enough. So that'll help make sure our economy recovers. What else could we take? I mean, we could just finish them off. Like Savannah. Yeah, Savannah has like no garrison. Why didn't I attack them earlier? Yeah, there's enough movement points. I think I'm going to auto-resolve this one as well, because there's no point fighting a big siege battle, like waiting for the loading and everything if the enemy has like one unit. It's not going to be epic. It's not going to be challenging. Might as well just auto-resolve it. So let's do that. And Demod has been surprisingly stable for this America campaign. Not sure why, but it's good. Pretty happy about it. Because it's really frustrating when the game suddenly crashes and then you have to re-record it, and or you have to like edit out the crash. Super annoying. And it makes me not want to play it. So let's go for New Orleans next. Let's bring in all these riflemen, and I'm also gonna, yeah, New Orleans has like no garrisons. We're gonna auto-resolve this one as well. And like I was saying, there's no point fighting it if, and more importantly, there's no point risking. If there's a high chance of it crashing, I'm not gonna fight every single siege battle. It has to be worth it. Okay, another easy auto-resolve, good ratio. Good ratio. And we're going to earn even more money now. Yeah. We're still in the red, but just barely. Financially, I mean. Alright, you know what's weird? That was the last Confederate city, I'm pretty sure, but they're not destroyed. So they might have taken a place in the Caribbean, maybe. Maybe I could use the Navy to scout them out. But I think there's also a chance that they're a faction that doesn't get destroyed by taking all the cities. I think I'm gonna have to like kill off their family line for them to be destroyed. So I'm kind of glad, because it was kind of too easy taking all those settlements. So I'm gonna in the next video I'm probably gonna fight a big epic field battle against one of their remaining armies. But now I think we should start thinking about focusing on dealing with the British. So I actually have some units here that I forgot about that I could use to free Chicago from the siege. But I don't have enough movement points to do it. So let's see if I have some other troops that have movement points. Oh, these guys! I could have pushed them out this whole time. Yeah. So let's use the cannons don't have enough movement points. So I'm just gonna have to use riflemen only. Let's select as many as I can so that the auto resolve works out. All right, that's enough. They ran away. Let's keep, and yep. Easy auto resolve. And then I'm gonna station these troops right here at the border with Canada in case they try to do something else. What other troops do I have here? Could I let's lower taxes. Public order is okay. Let's thinking of ending the turn. I think I've done everything that I wanted to do. We did a lot. We conquered like 4 settlements. Yeah. Let's end the turn. Let's see if they do anything. Let's see if the British do anything. Oh, no one did anything. Okay, we're good. There was a chance the Confederacy would react very aggressively because they have that one big army right there to the west of Atlanta. Ooh, faction ranking. Let's check the Confederacy. Let's see how they're doing. It should be like a steep drop. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, they're screwed. They have 0 production, 0 territory. And we went from being in debt and now we're the richest faction. Yeah, so that right there is the main army that we're gonna have to deal with. There's also a smaller army right here. I think we can auto resolve them. Let's fix the public order, and I'm gonna need more troops. Let's bring this army over here. Let's bring in some more troops. Let's combine them. Alright, and I think now we can win the auto-resolve. Come on. Yeah, they ran away. That's a good sign. And, yeah, whoa, great ratio. And there's also a fort. But this is going to be the main army that we're going to have to deal with, and that'll be an epic kind of final like the last stand of the Confederacy. I'm going to need a pretty good army. I think that final army is going to have a lot of cannons in it. So we're gonna use this army. And I was going to scout out the Caribbean just in case they had conquered. Because I've seen them in previous campaigns. I've seen the Confederacy taking like Cuba and surviving after getting defeated by the Union. Well, sometimes it varies depending on the campaign. Sometimes the Confederacy AI wins, sometimes the Union AI wins. I'm going to use Abe Lincoln to invade Canada. Talk about alternative history. Let's go for Montreal, and I'm going to reinforce it with these cannons that I was going to move towards Chicago, but then I ended up taking Chicago, reinforcing Chicago with those other troops. Mexico doesn't want an alliance. Unfortunate. I would like an alliance with them so that my like bottom flank is covered while I deal with Canada, with the British. But seems like Mexico's not interested. Once I get rich enough, I can probably bribe them into liking me. Mexico, I mean. I can just give them like 10k, 20k, and they'll not mess with me. And I could also probably put an army on the border just in case. Alright, I think I'm gonna end it here, guys. Like always, thanks for watching. I hope you're enjoying the campaign as much as I am. Leave a like and subscribe if you want to see more. I'm gonna keep making these. I'm gonna make it at least a 20 to 15 part campaign. I can go up there to Asia. I can do all kinds of things. The world map is our oyster. See you guys in the next one. Bye bye.